Welcome back to Wakanda Intermediate Training, and I'd like to talk about CommonJS, which is a group with the goal of building up a JavaScript ecosystem for web servers. And to that end, I want to talk about CommonJS modules. Wakanda fully supports the CommonJS architecture that allows you to provide additional features to your server through CommonJS modules. Wakanda provides various built-in utility server-side JavaScript modules for handling low-level server-side features, such as TCP connections and events. You can also download existing server-side JavaScript modules written by third parties and install them in your Wakanda project very easily. And maybe most interesting to me, you can also write and use your own server-side JavaScript modules provided they follow the CommonJS architecture, and this is implemented in Wakanda. So I want to talk a little bit about creating and installing a module in your Wakanda application. A CommonJS module in its simplest form is just a JavaScript file, one file per module, containing one or more functions to export. Custom Wakanda modules must be stored in a modules folder located at the root of your project folder. Each public module function must be declared using the exports keyword in your module file. And here's an example of a very simple add function that we're exporting from our module, and there could be more functions. And after you've created your module functions can then be executed using the require method on the server. And here's an example of how we would use the add function from our module. So I'd like to go to our project, our CRM, and in this CRM and in almost every single Wakanda application I write, I never use the built-in directory. I'm always storing and authenticating users from my own user data class. And the reason for that is I usually find that I want to add more attributes other than just the username and password. So I'm always finding myself creating my own user data class and usually writing a custom login listener using that data class. And then in my application I'm setting a login listener. And I keep doing this over and over. So I decided maybe this is a good example of using modules. So what I did, if we go to my GitHub account, I've created a Wakanda custom login module. And let's go take a look at this. So I've got my modules folder, and inside a custom login module that contains first, using the model API, which we've already seen, I will create my user data class, same data class that I use in the CRM project and many other projects. So I'm creating the user data class. I'm adding methods to it that I'm going to use, all using the model API, and finally I export it from the module. Also, I know when I have my custom user data class, I'm going to want to have a custom login listener, so I create this function and also export that. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to close the CRM and we're going to start a brand new project. And we're going to see how using this module can help us get started faster. So here we go. Here's our project. And the first thing I'm going to do is go into my model. I'm going to change over to use the Advanced Model Edition so that I can use the Model API. And if I do that, I'm going to create my model. So I have my model. Now I want to create my user data class. Well, instead of typing it all in, what we're going to go do is we're going to go back here to GitHub, to the custom login module, and let's download this. And there's our module. So tell you what, let me show you how we're going to do this. Put this here. Let's get Wakanda. I'm going to close this up a bit. So at the root of my project, I need the modules folder. So we'll drop it in. And now I have this. So I can write this code, make it a lot easier. Model, I want to add my user data class. Use my require statement. That's the name of my module. If it's just located inside of my modules folder, I don't have to give a path or anything. And I want to use the exported user object. So there we go. Now look, already I can see there's my user data class and the methods, and all I had to do is write that one line of code. So that's really nice. Let's save this. Now we need a custom login listener to be able to use this. So I'm going to go in here and create a folder called scripts. And in scripts, I'll create my required JS. This is a special file that is loaded into every context that Wakanda creates on the server. So everything that we have here will be available. And so right here, we're going to create our custom login listener function. Now, instead of having to write all the code, I'll use require again. Let's point to our custom login module. This time, I want to use the custom login listener function that is exported from my module. And we can go see that that's exported right here. So now, we only have to do a simple thing, create a new bootstrap file that will run when we launch our project. We have to identify this as the bootstrap, and let's set our login listener. And our login listener is called custom login. And we're going to give it admin privileges. So custom login is the name of the login listener that we loaded from our custom login module. And because it's in the required.js in the script folder, it will always be available for any thread that Wakanda is handling. So there we go. It looks like I am just going to close this. So we'll launch this again. We've got everything in place. I just want to check one thing. Did I set this as, yes, I set that as the active bootstrap. Let's go see if this is working. Go into my index page. We're just going to drag a login dialog. Fire it up. And I'm going to go in here and see Who's our current user? Nobody. Oh, one more thing I forgot. We have to create a user. So let's go in here to project, new JS file, server test.js. So we can execute a little bit of code here on the server. Let's create a user real quick. Var Dave equals new ds.user. So we've created our user data class from our module. And I'm going to save this. So we have to, what are the properties for the user? Email Dave at wakanda.org and password Dave1Dave and full name David Robbins. Okay, and oh, let's give a role employee. All right, let's create our user, and Dave equals, let's see if I did that right. I don't know if it liked that save. Let's do this. There we go. So let's check and see we've created our user successfully. Oh, we got it twice. Well, that's good enough. I did it. So now we can go over here, log in, Dave at wakanda.org, Dave1Dave. Boom, signed in. There we go. So that is how easy we can use CommonJSModules. I have all this code here up on my GitHub account, and it's a great way to start your project really fast. I can create my custom user data class and also my login listener, and don't have to write, just write 2 lines of code to do that. So that's CommonJSModules, and that is one way that you might want to use them, and I will see you in the next video.